A new Manchester United era has begun under Sir Jim Ratcliffe. The deal has been approved by the Premier League, and lots of changes are going to happen, not only with Omar Barada, Dan Ashworth, potentially Jason Wilcox, and one other coming in, but that means big changes to the transfer strategy, big changes to the transfer plan, big changes in the transfer window, and it will be a big transfer window where the budget is reportedly going to be spread across multiple positions. United will be looking at 20 to 25 roles that could be developed into superstars while sticking a budget, because that's Omar Barada's thing, with outgoings being the priority. And obviously what Manchester United can do will massively depend on the outgoings, will massively depend on who is sold, but a lot of it, it's FFP and all of this, but if United have a big clear out, United can have a big spend. And talking of players that could be cleared out of the club, you've got Eriksen, Rafael Varane, Casemiro, Scott McTominay, Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof, with big question marks around them. They could all bring in a bit of money. You've also got question marks around Sancho, Donny van de Beek, Pulisic and Brandon Williams that United want to sell. Big question marks apparently reported around Anthony as well, although United almost want to see if they can make that work, but there's a feeling that those who've just come into the club are thinking, just get rid. John Murtough went to Saudi Arabia to try and see if he could get anything for Anthony. And of course there's question marks around Greenwood and Mejbri. So in today's video, we're going to talk about who should Man United sign under Ineos. We're talking about the players just now that are likely to go with question marks around them, but if those players go, where are United going to sign? What are United's priorities? Right centre-back, left centre-back, a 6-8 hybrid, right wing and striker has been noted as the 5 priorities for the summer window. That could change if we only sell one centre-back, but we sell 3 wingers. It could be 2 wingers and 1 centre-back. If we sell loads of midfielders and only 1 centre-back, it could be loads of midfielders and 1 centre-back. Like, where we go for changes, but ideally the plan is these look like the 5 key areas. These are a list of players that we've already been linked to: Euro, Silva, Todibo, Tapsoba, Anicio, Braithwaite. You can use your eyes to read that list. These are players that United have reportedly looked at, got an interest in watching, and Ineos are keeping an eye on this. But obviously this list of players that we're in for could obviously change, of course, when the deal is official, when Ratcliffe and Owen Barada are official here, the season's over, and we don't know if Ten Hag's going to be here. But we know what Man United want, we know what Manchester United need, and one of those is a right centre-back. The options are Todibo, Euro and Silva for me. They're my top 3 options. I think Antonio Silva's fantastic, but I think he's going to be 70, 80 million. I think Lenny Euro could arguably become maybe the best centre-back in the world one day, but he could be very expensive, and he's only 18. I think we still need a bit of experience. I know the 18-year-olds are doing great at United. I've gone with Todibo, 24 years of age, value of £38 million. But one of the reasons I've gone with Todibo, while I don't know if he's necessarily the best partner for Martinez, because he's not a natural box defender, he's a very good wide channel defender. He's very good at defending the wide spaces. He could potentially play right back if needed as well, with enough lack of fullback depth. He covers good amounts of ground. He's a good transition defender, and he's absolutely great in possession as well. He's comfortable on the ball, can play the ball. It's good in build up, his press resistant, but also is great at defending large spaces. What do Manchester United do? Oh no, they leave us vulnerable because the rest defence is poor and teams transition against United, and there's loads of large space to cover. Maguire isn't comfortable at that. Lindelof isn't comfortable at that. Todibo is. He's good at ground coverage. He's good at wide space defending. I think that's something we need. The just question mark for me is, if we get Todibo, part of me goes, do we go for Braithwaite at left centre back, because he's very physical, he's a box winner, he's a dual winner, he's a box defender, because I think that's what we need. But then I also think with Luke Shaw and Malassia's injury record, Lisandro Martinez's injury record, maybe we go for someone like an asset. You've got Braithwaite, a 21-year-old player that can play right centre-back, left centre-back, would probably partner Lisandro Martinez as well. And if there was a guarantee that Lisandro Martinez was going to stay fit all season, I will go for Braithwaite. But my option at left centre-back for the other centre-back is Anicio, because this guy can play left-back. If something happens to, of course, Luke Shaw, he can play left-back alongside Martinez, but he's such a similar profile to Lisandro Martinez. And to break down why I think Anicio is so good is he can play left centre back in a 2, he can play left centre back in a 3, he can play central back in a 3, he can play left back, he's even played DM in his time. He could be United's answer to Nathan Ake, what Nathan Ake does at Man City. And to be honest, he is a pretty good ball winner, dual winner. He is decent in the air, but what he's known at for being is a great tackler, great in wide areas, great passing range. He's got the ability to step into midfield and build up, which is what Lisandro Martinez does. And he is probably the closest player to Lisandro Martinez out there in terms of his qualities in possession, his qualities in build up. He can step up into build up. He can do the Lisandro Martinez role. But if Lisandro Martinez plays, he can fill in for sure at left back, because he can play left back But what I think he brings is his ability to step in the pivot, be the primary first ball handler in the first phase, which is something we've massively missed with Martinez and Shaw being injured. And with Martinez and Shaw's injury record, I think this is what we need. But if Martinez and Shaw were guaranteed to stay fit, I will go with Branthwaite. But we just know how key Martinez and Shaw are. And he'd be like a Nathan Ake type signing for United. Play left back, play left centre back, replicate the role of Martinez when he plays centre back. But what he's known for is his ability in possession, his progressive carrying. I think he ranks in the 99th percentile, was it, for progressive carrying? Passes attempted 99th percentile, progressive passes 99th percentile. That's how good he is at moving the ball forward. You can see his percentile statistics here. And also, he's quite two-footed as well. You could stick him at right centre-back if needed, but I know Ten Hag's obsessed with passing angles, but his carrying ability is absolutely immense. And just to show you how similar he is to Lisandro Martinez there, I was comparing Martinez's stats from last season, obviously, to Branthwaite and Goncalo Inacio. Branthwaite is green, and you can see duels, defensive actions, and aerials. Branthwaite absolutely trumps them. He's a more similar profile to Varane. But if you look at progressive passes, forward passes, and carrying, you know, Goncalo Inacio is the only guy that's probably better than Martinez at it out there. You know, you look at that, and obviously he plays for the dominant team in the Portuguese league, so he doesn't have to do as much defending. So of course, naturally that'll be lower. But you can see in general, Martinez and Inacio have a very similar profile, whereas Branthwaite is different. And if we're looking at a player that's going to mirror Martinez, that could be the one. Now, the next option is a 6+8 hybrid, and I've gone with Mats Wiefer, although for some reason I put a picture of Fofana there. My bad. But Fofana, Wiefer, Anana, Palacios, and Subamende would be the options for United. I think Subamende is going to be swooped up by Arsenal, to be honest. But Mats Wiefer's my first choice. He's 24 years of age. He's at a decent age with decent experience. But one of the reasons I've gone with Mats Wiefer is no player actually won more duels in the Eredivisie than Mats Wiefer so far this season. He's got a very good physical presence in the air, and I think that's something we're missing in the midfield. Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno are a little bit smaller. I think Mats Wiefer would partner them really well. I think Mats Wiefer can be a 6, he can be an 8. So if Kobbie Mainoo plays as a 6, Mats Wiefer can go higher up the pitch, and he would give us the ability to play over the press. But Mats Wiefer can also play in deeper areas, and he's very good in build-up. He's very press resistant. He's very good on the ball. Now, what I like about Mats Wiefer is he can cover mass amounts of ground. He's just got those legs to cover mass amounts of ground, and we see that the spaces that Man United midfield has to cover that Casemiro struggles with because of the way we play. He's got those legs to get a tackle, to win a lot of duels. He's a great duel winner, and I think all of Mainoo's weaknesses are sort of tied into Wiefer's strengths, and all of Wiefer's weaknesses are sort of tied into Mainoo's strengths. Naturally, I think that Wiefer and Mainoo are sort of best as second pivot players. None of them is a primary 6 holder, but they have the ability to play there. And I think United have an option. Do they want to go for a Palhinha that's just going to be an anchor across the back, or do they want to go for a defensively thinking 6 but is good at build-up, which is Wiefer, which is similar to what Frankie de Jong could be. But Mats Wiefer's, unlike Frankie de Jong's, got that physicality that we need as well. And I think value for money wise, he could be great. Wants the jeweler. He's got those Anana, Turam-like legs to win the ball, to progress the ball, to even carry the ball. He uses his strength and power. And his ball retention is very good. And I think we've been talking about Man United, how Kobbie Mainoo is the only guy that can keep the ball, and the rest of Man United is giving the ball away like hot potatoes. Mats Wiefer has that ball retention needed. Now, right wing, arguably Neto and Elise are my 2 favourite, but because of their injury records, I've gone with Nico Williams, who reportedly has a release clause of £43 million, which is a steal. And what Williams sticks out to me over Bakayoko and Sule is Williams' versatility to play both left wing and right wing. You see, we've got Garnacho coming in. He's been playing right wing now, that actually we can just play Nico Williams left wing, Garnacho right wing, or we can play Garnacho right wing and Rashford left wing, depending on the form of Rashford, depending on the form of Garnacho. He's got the ability to play both left wing and right wing, which is something that I massively like about Nico Williams. But what I like about him is he's a good 1v1 dribbler. He likes to run at players 1v1. He's got very good ball carrying ability. He's very good in the final third, creativity wise, and he's got a very high ceiling. He's 21, but he plays so mature for his age. He presses hardly, he works super hard, and it's just someone that knows how to create, knows how to cross. There's a direct 1v1 threat that likes to get forward, that is very good with age on their side, and will press and will work and will cover ground. And for me, I think he can be developed into a superstar. And with that release clause reportedly being 43 million, it's an absolute steal. Now, I don't want the video to be too long, so we're going to go into who United's striker options are, and Xerxes, Tel and Sesko have been those linked to us. I think Xerxes 35 million release clause wouldn't say no to that, but if United want to make a statement, I would go for Matthias Tel, who I think, to be honest, would be near a 60 million. Don't know why I put 45 million in there, but he can play centre forward, left wing, he could probably play right wing, and the reason I've gone for him as backup striker to Højlund is because, again, I think to an extent we might need two wingers depending on if Sancho, Antony and Greenwood and Pulisic go. I think we might need two wingers, and this guy can play all across the front three. He's got that versatility, and he has been immense. You might say, oh, 28 games, 6 goals, 4 assists, 700 minutes, 6 goals, 4 assists. That is a goal contribution per game if you look into the amount of minutes he's played. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's a great ball striker. He manages to basically get the ball, dribble around players, find space out of nowhere to get that shot off. He's super versatile, which is something we need, but he's a high-level athlete. That's how I describe him. He's someone that's got the athleticism to cover a lot of ground, to press a lot, to run a lot, to work hard, which is something we see in Højlund. And because he's quick, he's going to be really good in transition, how Ten Hag wants to play. But because he's good with his feet, because he can break lines, because he can dribble the ball through tight space as well and manipulate defenders, he's also good against low blocks. I think his movement is very, very good and very underrated. He knows how to move. He's got a good reading of the game. He's got a good IQ. And you know how we talk about Kobbie Mainoo being levels ahead of an 18-year-old? Matthias Tel was only 18, but he has that Kobbie Mainoo thing about him where you're like, for 18, this guy looks streets ahead of his age. He's almost like the centre forward equivalent of Kobbie Mainoo. And I don't know why he's not getting more minutes at Bayern Munich. I think he'll be difficult to get. I think now Tuchel's gone, he'll get more minutes and probably stay, but it'll be interesting. I also said potential for a sixth signing, but it's going to depend on sales and how much money's raised, because you've got to think of FFP and that. I think if Sancho, Antony and Greenwood will go, then we might want to sign another winger, maybe a Neto or a Elise on top of Williams. If McTominay, Eriksen, Amrabat, Casemiro will leave, then I would definitely go for Matt Sweefer, and then you maybe want to look at someone like Andre, João Neves, potentially, if I think he's going to be a bit out of budget. And if Wan-Bissaka leaves, you're going to want to look at right backs, whether it's I can't say his name, you know what I mean, the one that was at Ajax, Anderson, whoever they look at. Anyway, please do smash the likes, please do subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.